Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll be starting in just a few minutes. Good morning, Erica. Maureen, are you on? We'll be getting started in just a few minutes, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Welcome, Remax from Midwest and New England. We've got a lot to share this morning.
Good morning, Michelle. Erica is here as well.
Good morning, Erica. Good morning, Maureen.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Happy Friday.
Yes, and you also.
So we already have some attendees on. They're anxiously awaiting our session today, and feel free to share your screen whenever you're ready, Maureen.
All righty, I'm just making that happen right now.
Okay. I hope everyone's adjusting to our new normal and are healthy and well, and we miss you. We wish we could have been out on the road this week, but thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Check. Can you see the booj CRM setup slide on my screen? You all see that? Good.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, now I will just share my video for a second. Oh, the host has stopped my video. That's okay. I was going to say hi, but actually, you're better off without that.
No, actually, there should be video. Hold on. You should be able to turn your video on.
You see my screen?
Yes.
You see that note?
You should be able to, well, no, I can't see that note.
Oh, okay. There's a note when not that big a deal. It's just a little note that says you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it. And I know you've got the host open right now. So let's not worry about that.
Let's see, hold on.
What time is it anyway? We almost there? One more minute. So we've got to let everybody compile up to the last minute.
I think I just changed it. You should be able to do video.
Technically, I should be able to, but since it's not cooperating on this end, let me just say hi from the background. I'm very happy to be here for all of you today, as is Michelle. The two of us would have been out on the road teaching booj this whole week, all next week, even into early April. And it's always more exciting to see faces and interact and be able to walk around and make sure that you're all very comfortable with what we're presenting. But what we are doing is working as a team to make sure that during these booj setup webinars that you feel confident in the platform. When we're done with this long webinar, it is 2 hours, and that you'll be able to go back and practice it a little bit. And then coming around on the 31st of March when we go into the hard launch, Michelle and I are working on other shorter videos that are going to talk to you about what's new, what exactly changed, what's now available, and there'll be more and more being rolled out in the months to come, especially in the spring here, and even down to the point where we're going to have little focused webinars on simply each aspect of the CRM and the website. So there is plenty of opportunity to make sure that you can learn about this new beautiful platform, even though we're not able to be there in person. You have anything to add, Michelle?
So no, I definitely, as I said earlier to those of you that were on early, we definitely miss all of you. It's been quite an adjustment for us because we feel like we had a really good momentum going in this booj rollout, and seeing a lot of you we were able to do a couple of RMX events and start some of the trainings. So you know, like I said, I know we're all adjusting to a new normal. You know, hopes and prayers that it's not going to be a long period of time for us, but what's most important is that you are all safe and we care about you, and we want to make sure that you and your families are well and healthy. So there's a lot yet to come with booj. We're just getting started. We're basically scratching the surface. And like Maureen said, there's going to be a lot of new features, and leads will go live on March 31st. So it's going to come up here really quick. And we have a lot more to come in the way of webinars and training.
All right, thank you. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, what I wanted to just tell you is I would like to basically go over a short presentation with using slides, just long enough to be able to give you some overall information, some visuals, and some important knowledge base that we want you to be able to have after this webinar. We're going to be sending you these slides. This webinar is being recorded. So then you'll have a combination of both when you go back to practice the platform. So just as an agenda, I'm going to be going through some slides. When I reach a point where I have a slide pop up that says live demo, I will do just that. I'll go live and we will show you the CRM features and how to utilize them. Then I'll go back into my presentation for a few slides to prep you for the webinar section, at which time we'll go live on that as well. So let's go right ahead and begin. All right, the first thing is these slides are based just in case some of you are following along and you haven't yet actually gone through the wizard. I'm just going to briefly explain it, give you a few visuals. I will move right along, so don't worry if you caught behind. This is something you can do with this webinar, and you can slow it down and go step by step. But I think it really helps people who haven't yet gotten themselves set up to see exactly what they're supposed to see and know that they're not on the wrong page or something like that. So the first thing you're going to do is get on the internet and then sign into Max Center account. You're going to use your remax.net credentials. And when you do, you will open the Max Center app, platform, or dashboard, and then click right on the booj tile, which in this picture is right here. And what we're going to talk about in the CRM portion of the setup is the lead routing, the rules for remax.com and the websites, importing contacts from Lead Street as well as other platforms, organizing, tagging, which is actually categorizing in this case, the CRM tasks, calendar integrations, settings and notifications, and how to download the booj CRM app. Here's a reason why I wanted to present some of these slides, because when you get them, you can look at these yourself instead of just having it read to you. But overall, what we're trying to make sure people understand is the product works best through the Chrome browser. It does work on Safari, and I think Firefox has been working, but any product that's built to be optimized on one browser really should be utilized on that browser, just so any of the background connections don't give you any trouble while you're using it. There is a Chrome for Mac, by the way, so in both those, whether it's HP or Mac, you should be able to have a Chrome option to you. We'll go over the Max Center profiles and how to update those, because that is where all of your information is being drawn from onto the website bio pages, as well as the referral base in Max Center, where other agents might search for you, find you, and read your profile. And if it isn't up to date and complete, then you're less likely to get chosen compared to someone whose is. The date of March 31st, you'll see listed for 4 times in a row here. Basically, that means all these functions are waiting until the 31st. We're in what's called the soft launch. That is the date of the hard launch. So your Lead Street import, it won't be fully functional until then. The custom domains you might want for your websites won't be able to be assigned until then, so we want to ask you not to try to publish your website before that. And the text feature from the CRM app will be enabled on the 31st. And finally, the Remax.com leads you're getting now prior to March 31st are still coming through Lead Street, but that will end on the 31st and they'll start pushing through booj. Lead Street Access will give you a little float period in April, which in case you've left some information in that product and you want to export it out, you'll have that buffer zone. And for broker owners, in order for your agents to be able to publish their websites, you do have to have signed IDX agreements. And if that's not something that's in place yet, please contact support at remaxintegra.com and they will certainly help you. For everybody else, for support needs during booj, even if it's now I understand you can even get your Max Center credentials reset by visiting maxhelpsyou.com, and this is our own in-house Integra support team who are really capable, quick, and very responsive. So any help you need with those credentials, please go to maxhelpsyou.com and submit a ticket. Just another mention, booj is optimized for Chrome. This is the logo it looks like, in case you weren't sure. Please make sure that's where you're working out of. The soft launch began February 17th. It's basically a preview period. As you can see, it goes through March 31st. And it's just the opportunity we're always given to, number one, get you set up, get you comfortable, get you trained. It also helps us identify some bugs that might show up in the early stages, get those resolved, and help you practice and start building on your websites as well. So this is, again, just an opportunity for you, if you want to grab a picture of this, just in case, but you will get the slide as well. This is the INTEGRA Support optional, all the different options you get. You can text them. Here's your New England number. Here's your North Central number. Here's your Indiana number. When you're on the broker and agent support tile, you can use this chat box, which is a really quick way to get information where you don't have to go through the process of submitting tickets or dialing in. There's the extensive knowledge base, all of these tutorials, these things, you can probably resolve a lot of things just by checking this out. But if not, you can always submit a ticket, report issues. And it's really uncanny to me, after working in big business, that you have this kind of access to a tech team. It's typically unheard of in business for a population of our size to be able to literally get on a call with a tech specialist one-on-one. But here at Remax, this is the kind of service they want to provide. And you can now click into the schedule a call via this page, and you will come up with calendar options and dates and times that you can enter your text number, your name, a few pieces of information as to why you need their help, and then hit confirm, and they will literally call you on your cell phone and walk you through whatever it is you're dealing with. So you couldn't ask for more accessible people. In addition, like I said, we're going to continue to develop new trainings and new parts of trainings for all of the components of booj, whether it be the CRM or the website, and we'll always be inviting you to join us on those webinars. But you have a plethora of information where you can self-teach or just review. There is an entire tab under our technology base down here in the left-hand column. You see the title booj, click into that. You can also just search here and you can click and get any of our recorded webinars to view again. If you clicked the booj choice here under the technology box, you would open up these several different categories and they drop down into multiple videos. So LLC has put tons of videos in there. And again, our videos from all the webinars we've been doing are also recorded. Here is an opportunity for you to just get some understanding of what the resources and support are via LLC. There's going to be, starting Tuesdays, a recharge. It's going to contain things like release notes that let you know what's being released, what part of the platform's been turned on, what's up and running, whole knowledge base in there for you to use. And when I'm doing a demonstration here today on booj, I want you to notice in the lower right-hand corner, there is a big blue check mark. This is a great opportunity for you to click into that. It offers step-by-step guides and frequently asked questions, but it also offers you an opportunity to provide feedback. It will basically ask you a quick, how does this rate? What are you feeling about it? And then you're able to offer a suggestion. Perhaps you've been hoping that the CRM would do something you use every day in another platform and you didn't quite see it. It doesn't mean it isn't in there or not coming. We just might not have touched upon it. So don't hesitate to send them a question or a note. And if they get enough input on something profound that everybody's asking for, believe me, they're listening. And I'm sure we can depend on them to pull the pieces forward that seem to be the most beneficial. RE/MAX University, I've already discussed. And let's not forget, if you join the RE/MAX Tech and Tools Facebook group, you have a whole, oh, so sorry, back one. You have a whole Facebook group for peer collaboration, people that are comfortable with this, that may have been in the beta testing, that feel they can help share their information with those of you that need a little more assistance. Okay, let's look at the leads and the booj overview. First of all, what you should know, and I hate this little box, that this is the basic tunnel for the life of our leads. Just trying to get this out of the way. Oh well, I'll move it around. We have had millions of consumers search for properties on these R5 websites. The .remax.com, our mobile app, global.remax.com, remax.com luxury, and the RE/MAX commercial. And all of those initiate leads, which as of March 31st are going to be processed through booj. Since 2006, 22 million leads have been pushed through our system, and they come through delivered to RE/MAX agents referral free, no fees involved. And I don't know of another organization that can say that. Most of the time, it's a fairly big chunk that's given to the organization out of the referrals that come through their websites, not at RE/MAX. Here, it is absolutely referral free, and we like you to keep that in mind so that when you do get referrals and when you set up your MAX Center profiles, you do so in a way that you're going to be chosen for as many referrals as possible, because that's quite a nice chunk of change when the time comes. All right, so let's look a little bit at the lead routing and goals. What we really want to point out is that research was done during this beta testing. The company's been working on booj for a good 18 months, even more. And the feedback from the consumer was definitely one of our most important concerns, because as an organization, as agents, we want to make sure they respect and feel confident in the RE/MAX brand. So the lead routing goals have been primarily developed to empower the consumer. Make sure that the consumer is working with whom they wish to. And also, we want to make sure we're supporting your existing relationship with a consumer or a client you've already worked with. And then naturally, if somebody's brand new to remax.com and they search, we want to make sure the listing agents get first shot at their own listings. And if all of those circumstances, if out of those people, nobody actually chooses to accept that lead, it will go into the zip code pool, where we'll be able to assign it to a local expert. And we're going to talk to you more about the zip code entries and how to make sure you get the best ops for the ones in your area. All right, leads are created in different ways, and any of these ways on our systems will create leads. For instance, if forms are filled out, if somebody clicks to request more information, contact you, or they want to see a house, that's considered a form type of lead. And activity-wise, if somebody's saving searches, saving properties, adding My Place is a feature that I think is phenomenal. A consumer can utilize our platform to say, my place is my home. And then another one of their places might be their work. And maybe the third one is their child's school or daycare. When they save those and then they look at a listing, it will actually show them the drive time between those places. If you choose this home, you're 20 minutes from work, 15 minutes from the kids' school, and 5 minutes from the daycare. Really, really a huge feature that is a big benefit to your clientele. So you want to make sure as you utilize these features, you let them know that that's one of the biggest benefits to them. And also if they hide a listing, that's an action that you're going to be notified about. So you could maybe contact them and get a little more fine tune as to why that wasn't the right choice for them, so that you can certainly know which ones are. And all of these sources feed into our lead base. Agent websites, of which you're all getting. The agent app, of which you'll all have option to get. The team websites, the office websites, multi-office websites, Remax.com, and third-party sources, which are things like Realtor.com, Zillow.com. If you're purchasing leads from them, we're going to show you how to parse them over. This is just a visual of what it might be like for a customer to sign up to create what's called a preferred buyer's agent agreement with you. They're basically registering, choosing your name, and putting it in here. When it populates, they want to say, I'm a Remax agent, type in your name and register. I think I have a better slide on this moving forward, but this just lets you know that you will be initiating this option for them to register, and you want them to fill in your name there. When we enter the lead settings, we just want to remind you that you can enter up to 10 zip codes, and they're no longer more powerful if you repeat them. That was part of the Lead Street platform. It is not the same in booj. You want to enter up to 10 different zip codes. So it really doesn't help you to duplicate any. We like to recommend that you spread your wings a little, go outside your own zip code area. And if you get a lead from someplace that you actually don't think you can service properly, it's too far away, or it's some sort of farmland that you're not versed in, please don't deny it. Well, just let it pass. At least capture that lead, qualify the person on their level of interest, and then refer it through our Max Center referral base and get a piece of that deal through a referral fee. So don't ever give up a lead. Just pass it on and refer it and get some residual income from it instead. By setting up these leads, as I'll be showing you through the onboarding wizard, you'll understand that by filling in at least one zip code, you will then become eligible for all kinds of leads. All right, how is a preferred buyer's agent chosen on Remax.com? This is what I was mentioning, that when they go onto the website, this is a little better of a picture. When they find a listing they're interested in, they must register and choose their PBA. So this is what we want to have you, so maybe create a little drip campaign, send out a couple of emails saying, coming soon, I want you to keep your eyes open, I'm going to be sending you this registration. And in order for you to get all the benefits of our new platform and all the new searches and all the new ways in which I can service you, please make sure you register and enter my name. Once they click through that registration button, it's going to be just click here, I'm working with an agent, type in their name, first or last. When they populate, they find the person they were looking for, and once it's populated, they hit register. And that's all there is to it for them to make you their PBA. Now, as far as the lead routing goes, the preferred buyer's agent, because it was chosen by the consumer, is the first one who will get the lead that comes through those systems. Second, you could be an assigned agent because, for instance, an office lead might have been assigned to the agent through their internal settings. And if that's the case, if this person accepts the lead, they become the assigned agent. If that's not the case, if there's no pre-existing relationship here or pre-assignment, then immediately the listing agent gets to be priority, and that is offered to them for 1 full hour before it is entered, and they have the hour to themselves. Nobody else is in the pool. And unless there's as long as it didn't have a preferred agent, they get it, and they get to keep it before it would enter into the zip code pool. At that point, all agents who service the market area will then have opportunity to pick up that lead. So this is a little bit about the timing. Look down the lower left here, you've got 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. local time, 7 days a week. That means that those leads have to be accepted during these business hours within these timeframes above. If a lead comes in at 10:05, you have till 8 a.m. in the morning to catch it, because we don't have the clock ticking the 1 hour time frame during the middle of the night. So once somebody gets a lead, they have a full 1 hour all by themselves to capture it. That is an extremely generous amount of time if you consider what the consumer attention span is. You have to keep in mind, we're trying to service the consumer as a whole and as a company, and we want them to be working with all RE/MAX agents. So how long do you think the consumer attention span is? If they inquire about something and they don't have an answer in an hour, they might say, well, I'll wait a little longer, I'll go grab my lunch or whatever. But if they've gone an hour, 15, an hour and 30, an hour and 90 minutes, by now they're out the door and they're looking at somebody else or some other company. So we do have to shorten the time frame as time progresses to make sure somebody in RE/MAX captures that buyer or seller. So the first person in the first opportunity gets the full hour. Then it goes into what's called a round robin process. That means the person who's waited the longest to get a lead will get the first offer next, and they have 15 minutes to capture it. If they don't, it moves to the person who's been waiting second longest, and so on until somebody finally acknowledges that they've accepted that lead. And just a little bit more of an identifier, you will see this slide, it just explains what I just went over. Now, lead eligibility. Like we said, you have to have at least 1 zip code inside the booj CRM system in order to be eligible. But we completely suggest you enter 10. Now, you can be dropped out of that eligibility if you haven't missed accepting it or declining 3 consecutive initial lead offers. That means if you were the person offered a lead and had the 1 hour block and did nothing with it 3 times in a row. So that would mean you pretty much had to ignore 3 leads that gave you a whole hour to respond. 3 in a row, and you get dropped out of the eligibility. However, if that happens, you will be notified, your broker will be notified, and you should at that point go back in and say, please re-enter me into the pool, and in the future pay closer attention to grabbing those within the hour. When the leads come in, you are going to be able to get them in all of these different ways. Because of the beautiful CRM app we're having, you're going to see them pushed through into the app, and you're going to get a notification. You can get them through your email, your web, and your cell phone via text. We'll be showing you how to set those up. All right, any questions before we move on, Michelle?
We're doing good so far. Thank you.
All righty. Okay, so just basic CRM setup now. What you should understand is that the CRM is extremely comprehensible. It's one part of the booj platform. The other part is the website. So in the CRM, which is what we're looking at right now, we're going to talk about contacts and leads and all of the things you can do to stay in touch with them and how you can move them forward down your pipeline. The deal tracking, which I think is an ideal feature. Tasks, as we mentioned, are going to be categorized. Campaigns are coming soon. Michelle, are they on for the 31st, or is it some might be more later?
Well, with campaigns, there's a pretty good chance that may go into the second quarter at this time. So we were hoping to have them at the end of the month, but that's a new development. So stay tuned. We'll keep everyone posted, and we've got a new round of webinars coming towards the end of the month.
Excellent. Okay, now tags, excuse me, tags are categories that you can apply to all of your contacts and leads that might fall into the same category. And then finally, integration with your calendars. There is a calendar built into the booj platform that you can use separately, but most of us want to continue to use the calendar that we're comfortable with and we've been using all along. So as soon as that integration is final, hopefully the end of the month, we are going to be able to integrate our Google calendars, that's your Gmail, your Outlook calendars, and your iCloud calendars. So that is a huge improvement over other CRMs that make you do both of those things separately. Also, deal management. In the CRM, there is a deal manager, and I'll show you that, task plans and how to build them and automate them. Of course, seller reports, and we're also going to have integrated transaction management with DocLoop, DocuSign, and I believe there's 2 others coming down the pike. By memory, Michelle, do you have the other 2?
SkySlope is actually going to be the next one, and
Okay.
that's going to be here pretty soon.
Wonderful. I'm going to have to add that to my slide. So SkySlope, DotLoop, and DocuSign. I know you're all really excited about that piece because to me, that's one of the most important parts of your deal in your deal pipeline. All right, so again, this is just a little bit basic, but I wanted to remind those that are trying to follow along. booj is only accessible through MaxCenter, so please make sure you use your remax.net credentials and password to get in. If you forgot it, simply click here, and you can, I would actually say, I would prefer, I might change this, I would prefer you go to the INTEGRA team to have your passwords reset if this automatic one doesn't work. And once you pass through that, what you're going to notice is you may see, this will be the MaxCenter dashboard, you may see this booj on the front face, but if you, that just means whoever's tech account I was in right here favorited it, but it's okay if you don't see it. Where you're really going to find it is in this left-hand grid, and when you click on that, it's going to populate all of your choices behind the MaxCenter front space. And it will look more like that. You click on apps, and here you go. So once you do get inside this grid, you want to just, the booj tile may not be up and left, could be over here, doesn't matter. When you're ready to go forward, please just click this little gray flag and mark it as a favorite, and that way in the future it will end up here in the front, so you don't constantly have to go in and find it. Okay, then you click on the booj platform. Now, just very briefly, if you've never been into booj before, I think it's very helpful for those of you that is kind of following along, you haven't gotten through the platform. Just to give you an overview here, it's very quick. It's just accept, click, check some information, and get us down to completion. So on the first page, you want to accept the terms of use and click next. When you do that, you're going to see your information. You want to confirm it and edit anything in here that is not correct. Just check your personal information and hit edit here. Your Remax information and your email is important for you to know that that's right, and make sure your MLS ID is the one you're working through, and then click next. The third is actually the data migration. Number 3, that's the data migration option. This is where you want to check yes to have all of your lead street contacts and leads imported automatically into the booj account. We'll be able to get back to that a little later, but when you're in the dashboard, now's the time. Click yes, so those pieces of information will already be in your booj account. If you happened to be a member of the booj CRM beta testing, you might have more information here, and just below this little hidden mark is an opportunity to also check that you would like that information ported over. When you've done that, just click next again. Under offered leads, this is where, and I will show you again when we're in the platform how to enter them or go back and change them. But you want to enter 10 zip codes here. It's in the market area. You're basically saying where you want to receive remax.com and office website leads from. Try to pick 10 that have good population. Do a little zip code research. You probably know the ones you really want, but let's say you're struggling to figure out the last 5. Just pick out some in your vicinity and make sure they're not a PO box, because those don't have any houses attached. And then maybe check the population around the others. Is this a highly populated area? If it is, then that's a good one to choose. Maybe there's a lot more people that might be doing business. And last reminder that repeating zip codes does not give you any extra edge. Now this one, under filters, this can be a little deceiving unless you read the fine print. It basically means this is the where you select leads you do not want. At first glance, we all will say, yeah, click the boxes for lead types, and you drop off the end and you go, I want all these lead types. Well, if you click them all in, those are the ones you're actually excluding. So just a heads up, a word of caution, read the fine print. I don't suggest clicking any of these for the same reason. You might not want to work out of state. You might not want to work below a price point. You might not want to deal with farms or land. But whatever the case may be, there's somebody out there that does have expertise in those areas. So our suggestion is click them all. If you get a lead in that area or in that category, please just qualify the lead and then offer to the consumer, I have just the right person to help you, and I'm going to have them give you a call. In the meanwhile, you're using our Max Center referral system to set up a connection with them in a formal referral contract, so that when that listing closes, you get your referral fee. And finally, down here under text message notifications, if you want to receive booj leads via text after March 31st, the only way you can do it is if it has your cell phone number. So don't forget to do that. Make sure your cell phone number is in your text message notifications. And then hit next. Here are the notification sections on these pages. This is part of the wizard. There are other ways that we can get back here, but if you're still going through it, you basically want to make sure that you decide what are the reminder notifications you want on your calendar, through your app, through your email, how many minutes before, etc. And then just read through. How do you want to be notified if there's a lead assigned to you? Via email is your choice there. How about if your import is complete after you've imported a sheet of contacts? Do you want to be notified on your app or your email? All kinds of options. But just, I think in this beginning where we haven't yet seen how they come through, and I wouldn't be surprised if the smart way to do this would be to just check everything. And if you feel like you get notified overkill later, you can always come back in and uncheck a few boxes. This is the lower part of the same page around deals. How do you want to be notified around deals? What's coming in your inbox, and how do you want to be notified about those messages? Emails. If you want to know forms are received, you might want that immediately known on your app, definitely in your email, etc. And then tasks. If tasks have been assigned to you, how do you want to be notified? And let's say you're exporting something, you want to know when that's complete as well. So that's number 5. Finally, your email signature. You get an option here. You open this page, and there's a default in there, but you want to add your signature. Type in the information you want everybody to see, because this will go out on your emails and on your future campaigns through the CRM. Notably, at this time, there is only one font that everybody's using. They are working on giving you more options so you can personalize them further, and then hit save. Finally, here we are in the completion, and this is what the booj CRM looks like for the booj mobile app. It is the white flame within the navy blue box, and it says booj CRM. You can get it through the Google Apps, the Apple Store, or the Google Play. All right, your login will be your Mac Center username and password, just so you know. And when you're sure that you've done this all correctly, just hit complete setup. All right, now we're out of that, and because we just mentioned the booj mobile CRM, I just wanted to give you a quick picture. You can get it again on Google Play or the App Store. Look for the blue logo and the booj CRM, and then you're going to open it and download it. When you're logging in, again, it's your remax.net credentials. And these are the things that you'll be able to do with that app. There is agent and team branding. Communication with co-buyers within the app is going to be possible. Live views. And as I mentioned before, customers are going to be able to set my places and see the drive times between what property they might be interested in and all the places they go on a regular basis. So we're almost about to go live. I just wanted to show you this last slide, that once you've gone through that, once you've finished this completion, the next live screen you will see is this booj default view, and you'll have a menu bar across the top. Some of you may have some boxes populated here, but if you don't and it's empty, please don't worry. These things are what we build into, and I'll show you how to do that. You would simply, from a blank page, you would have this add box. You would add it, it would give you some options, click next, and that's how yours would begin to build. So now that I've given you that overview, I'd like to go into the product. Minimize that. Forever I'm trying to get rid of that box. And here I am on a booj test account, okay? Mine says agent test, which means it should have the same view that you have, although it's not personalized to me. How are we doing, Michelle? Any questions?
No, I'm just, we're answering them, so thank you.
All righty. All right, so what I'd like to point out when I'm teaching this, especially in a class, and when you want to remember how to practice, I like to say go from left to right, and then when you go back to practice, go into each one of these categories and maybe just spend 15 minutes a day playing with this one category. Then the next day maybe this one, the next day maybe that one. All right? The website will be one in itself. So for the moment, I'm going to move to the right-hand side and just point out a couple of things. You can hover over the calendar and open that up. That is the internal booj calendar, which you certainly can use and utilize if you'd like. As you know, we've entered some test entries for this test account, and it's showing that we entered a property anniversary for a client, and it's showing you that this person just closed, so we want to make sure we have an opportunity to wish them a happy anniversary in a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So that's one option. The checkbox is going to tell you, do you have any tasks overdue? And due to my test account entries, it says get a copy of signed offer from the buyer's agent. All right, it's overdue by a day. That's a problem. We should have done it yesterday. Under the notifications, These are things that are coming up, tasks, letting you know you've got deals assigned to you, and you can dismiss them, complete them, click into them, etc. This plus button, just consider it a shortcut. You don't have to go into all of these different places to enter a contact or a deal or an event or a task. This can be done fairly quickly, and it's just a second place. Once you get used to the platform, you might get more comfortable saying, oh, I met somebody today, I'm quickly going to add them a contact, or I only have time to throw the deal in my CRM really quickly. I'll go back and fill in more detail later, events, tasks, etc. And finally, I want to point out this little personal icon, because when you open that, that's when you get the opportunity to go into settings. And when I click on that, it brings me over to what's called my settings pages, and it does show generally the calendar. That's the internal calendar, not your Google, not your Outlook, not your iCloud. This might be a nice temporary way to play with the calendars, or maybe this is the only one you want to use, so it'd be a good opportunity to dig in. But you basically just want to make sure the settings are to your liking. So I set manually Eastern time zone because that's what I wanted. You could set it automatically, or let's say you're not in the Eastern time zone and you are in Mountain time. You can do that as well. That way your calendar is showing up in your time. What view do you want to see when you look at your calendar? Do you just want to see this week, or do you want to see the whole month overall with an agenda, or not? And what is the default length you want to fill in? I like an hour, and then sometimes I'll set my second notification as 30 minutes, but it's up to you. Some people just want 15 minutes. Okay? Default notifications, basically, this is for your app, your email. You get an opportunity to pick a drop down. I have to click it first. Then you can click the drop down and choose how many minutes or hours or days you want to know before. So let's now notice that in the same settings pages, there's this little hamburger menu. And when you click down on it, it opens all of these categories. Now you're going to find that to be true on each of these as well. When you open something, it's going to bring you to a more in-depth menu, and we'll move forward with that in a second. I just want to briefly show you under the settings pages that yes, you can utilize the calendar within the system. Okay. Not sure why my full calendar isn't showing up, but that's all right. We just went over those contacts and leads. These are settings for your contacts and leads. We already set a lot of these in the wizard, but basically when you look over little question marks, it tells you what they mean. This is the tab on the contact record that you will land on first when opening a contact record. So do you want to see the dashboard, the detailed, or any of these other categories that are assigned to your leads and contacts? If you were going to export mailing labels, what order would you want them to be in, and how do you want your contacts and leads to be viewed, last name or first name first? Under notifications, this we went over a minute ago. Basically, it's just in how many different ways from Sunday do you want to be notified under all of these circumstances? Somebody referred somebody to you, you want to know in every way you can. If a lead was shared or unshared. If a contact or lead updated their PBA, that basically means they changed it. So if you were the PBA and you saw them change that, you would certainly want to give them a call, and by no means get into a little match over why did you change your PBA, just more or less, how can I service you? I notice you're looking around, and as your chosen agent, did you realize you just changed that out? Is there something I can do for you? I'd like to have that. I'd like to continue to work with you, and let me know what it is your needs are now, and then maybe have them change it back if that works out. Now, if the contact or lead deletes their account, it just takes them off of the remax.com, but it does not take them out of your CRM database. Okay, now tags. Tags are a way to categorize contacts. And anything that's in gray on our list are built in. So you can apply all these gray ones to any one of your clients. But let's say there's plenty more personalized ones that you really are used to using. Please go right ahead and add a tag and decide what they might be interested in that is very focused to them. Maybe they're only looking at waterfront. And so anybody looking for waterfront is going to be color-coded bright blue, and add the tag. And lo and behold, where's their bright blue? Try that again. Did I not save it?
You might have to refresh your page.
Try it again. We'll try it again. And let's see if I can refresh up here. Not yet. Michelle, any suggestions?
You have 2 pages of tags, so go to the second page.
Ah, that's what I missed. There they are, entered twice. Excuse me. I'm just glad that they're still in there. Maybe I can change can I change the results to more? Sure. If I did 50, then they would have been right in front and center. So all is well. But that's how you add a tag. And then later, that tag exists so that anybody else that's in the same search, they're all, okay, you've got 4 families coming to a local area that has waterfront. They're all saying, I just want to see the waterfront. That same tag can be applied to several people. Now, custom fields. This is really an important part for your marketing because you are able to create up to 12 custom fields that can be used in all of your contacts and leads. And if you can think of ways to really focus on certain fields that might apply to a number of people, but you might do very specific marketing to them, you might want to add a custom field, and perhaps you want to know what their dates are for action. And let's use the drop-down select, hit next, and they may say, I'm ready to buy now, 0 to 30 days. May actually say these people are interested in 30 to 60. And 60 to 90. Ah. Now these people are 90 to 120. And finally, you know you're going to put these in the category of drip and campaign only because they're not really ready. 120 to 360 even, somewhere in that frame. Okay, now you just click that in and hit save. And now you have a drop-down list for dates of action that you can then apply to contacts and leads depending on when they're ready to move. Very, very helpful in fine-tuning your marketing. Now, integrations here is to be coming and offered leads. Remember I said you can get back in and enter those zip codes? That's how you do it. You're in settings. We went into settings pages. You get the drop down. Now you can go in here and add at least one if you haven't already. But if you added a bunch during the wizard just to get started, that's okay. You can go in and change them at any time. And just remember, you have to type them in one at a time and hit enter. That's how they populate. Okay, again, we went over this. There's the filters. You don't want to click those. If you, for some reason, forgot to put your cell phone number in here, now's a great time. And you're good. All right, any questions on that?
No, someone had that question, which I answered via text, and then you just answered it also. Thanks.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So now what we've done is we've given you an overview. We want to let you know that this little red icon is how you get back to your dashboard at all times. So this is basically your beginning. And that's why I like to say always move from left to right, because this will get you back to the beginning. This is where you can edit widgets or edit the boxes you put in. So let's just edit. You can move them. Let's say you want the contacts and leads to be the first thing you see. You just move that over. And then you want what deals are listed first. Maybe you want the buyer side second, and the calendar you really don't need to see till the end. It gives you a lovely opportunity to personalize this to the way you want to see it, and hit done. And this is, again, like a dashboard summary of what everything's looking like within from all these categories. So let's click into the leads. And if this is a test account, so we've already played with it and put people in here. If it's the first time you're in here, there won't be anybody down. There'll be no results. But that's perfectly normal, because in order for this to contain anything, you have to add your contacts and leads. If you've had some port over from Lead Street, they'll be in here and the source will actually say homes.com. So let's add an individual. And keep in mind, every one of these sections, when it tells you to begin, the add button's always in the upper right-hand corner. So we're going to use that to add an individual. I suggest you put in your name or somebody you know, just as an example. And you're going to be able to choose type here, contact or lead. Now, booj reads these a little bit differently. They consider a lead somebody who is just a person that you met, you've had conversation with, you're hoping that they'll do business with you, but they're in no way currently in a transaction or have promised to work with you. And believe it or not, that makes them a lead. Then it's your opportunity to utilize all your skills and convert them to a contact. So the best way I've been remembering it, because I was also in the field, and this field a little bit backwards, I think I've been best remembered as contacts or clients. So you want to keep that in mind. So let's say this person went from a lead to a client. And I want to say, what kind of a client is he? He's somebody looking for waterfront. That's a tag I can use. And he's also a college friend. Okay? Now I have his phone number. And that happens to be his mobile. If I want to add a custom label to this particular contact, I could say something like, well, let me do this. Golfer, just make it simple. So I'll know that when I look at him, he's a golfer, and I might want to consider that when I'm helping him out. His email address, that's his home one, and I could add another custom label to that. Once I've done that and added the content that I do know, I simply put him in, and here he is. College friend, waterfront. Okay? So once you've got people in your database.
Hey, Maureen.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I wanted to I saw some questions that have gone through that Eric has been answering. One of them I want to address is the zip codes. And specifically, so one person said that they entered 10 zip codes and only 2 show. Is there an issue? One thing I did notice in training is that some of you are typing 10 zip codes and putting a comma in between each one and then hitting enter and nothing happens, or only a couple come over. You have to enter each zip code separately. and then hit enter. Then enter the next zip code, then hit enter. So that should give you your 10. But if there are any other issues like Erica answered, please reach out to our support team.
Yes, absolutely. So just like I just demonstrated, it's type, enter, type, enter. Yeah, it does not work to try to put a bunch in at a time separated by commas. All right, so here we are. We're still in the contacts and leads section, but now we've got people entered. So let's just see how much information you can add about anybody specific. You're going to click on that person, and when you click on that person, it is now you're inside their personal contact record. So the important thing to know is you could spend an hour just talking about leads and contacts, and that will become a 1-hour webinar soon to come. But for now, what I want to point out is all this information that's going to be compiled and where you're going to be able to find it. So what we want you to do is, as you develop relationships, as you make phone calls, as you have meetings, that you have this record constantly being updated. So you can simply use this log button and log a call and say, I just spoke to them at 9:30 this morning, and we discussed showings this weekend. And then maybe I list the addresses. Okay, I log that so that now I know I've had that phone call. I can look, you can get much more detailed, but all of these interactions are showing up. What if I wanted to schedule a meeting? I need to meet with him Saturday so that we can go over more properties he wants to see, and our appointment is at 11 a.m. and list a whole bunch of addresses, MLS, listing, number, ... Okay, log the meeting. And now you have a meeting that will integrate with your calendar, and it will pop up there. Okay? And most important, in my opinion, is the notes section. Whenever you speak to a consumer or your client, you want to take notes. We all believe we're going to remember what they just told us, but it's really hard once the phone rings a second time and somebody else gives you a whole nother conversation. So the title of this note was First Phone Call, and they shared child is Joey, he's 9 and plays soccer. Add that note. The more you talk to people, the more of that personal information you get to know. And when you have it all in here, you get very comfortable being able to say, oh, I'm going to shoot little Joey an e-card that says, or happy birthday, or I heard you did great Sunday, whatever you can capture and communicate. The parents really love that. And you don't have to be too deep, but the more you talk to people, the more you find out about their families. And little touch points like that are very personal that really build relationships. You can add more tags here as well. When you hit actions, this gives you an opportunity to send this entire contact base to somebody else. If you do, it exits yours and enters theirs completely. More likely what you want to do is share it in case somebody's helping you cover that client for some reason. Then they get the information, but it stays also in your booj account. All right, so that's all the basics on the dashboard where you can enter a lot of information. When I go down this list, I'm going to move on fairly quickly just to give you an overview, but basically any deals that they have will be recorded here. If there is a new one coming, you simply, like everything else, remember, everything you open, you can add. So let's add a deal. Okay, and this is they're looking interested in buying 56 Plain Street. That puts them in an active status because they're actually looking. The base price of the house is $235,000. If I were to close it and my commission is 2.5%, it's going to calculate for me. Oh, I put in 25%. I was going to say that looks a lot higher than I thought it would. Now it calculates for me what the expected GCI would be on that. I enter the closing date, so not the way. And then there's the primary precipitant because they are in, I'm in that contact record. But what if he had his mother helping him in the transaction? You can add that person as an additional participant. You could also, please make sure all of your vendors are in your contact base, or attorneys, home inspection people, electricians, whatever it is that you typically would do business with to help a homeowner through the process. Just make sure they're in there so that if you want to add them as a participant, you can, and then hit add deal. And now there you go. Okay. Let's look at the details. Again, more information. These buttons are always at the top so you can continually log calls, meetings, notes. You might have only entered somebody with minimal information. If you want to add more phone numbers, if you want to add second or third email addresses. There's social media profiles. That's a great one to add so that you can participate with them. And if you, on your calendar, it pops up, it's the first anniversary of their new home. You click into their social media profile and give them a congratulations over their social media network. They'll know you're thinking about them. You want to make sure that you are communicating with them according to their preference. So you can edit that. Do they want to be contacted by text, via email, or called at office, whatever the case may be. Times. Marketing, do they want a drip campaign, or do they just want the monthly newsletter, or do they not want any at all by marketing out? Any important dates you want to add. Here's some more opportunity to manage your custom fields. Favorite wines, perhaps it's gender, dates for action, their company name. You can manage them and add them. Edit statuses, what client status are they in and what lead status are they in? And referrals. Did somebody refer this person to you? And finally, any connections allows you to put the contact in there. Let's say I'm an attorney. I can just type in attorney. And how do I want the connection type to work? That person will only have the client's information, or if I go two-way, that means they get to see each other's. Okay, so now there's the connection. Now let's look at the household. Basically, what this means is you can communicate with people individually, or they can be connected as a household. Quickly show you, when you go to connect one, this is the deal they're in, and here is the initial member. But what if you want to add a member? This might be a college student and their mother is going to help them with the down payment. You want to make sure that she's included in all of their transactional information. Hit add. Do I have to refresh there again?
When in doubt, always refresh.
And there we are together. Now, let's say Christian is in his senior year and he's moving into his own condo. You want to be able to, he's a young adult now, he's ready to move on by himself. You want to be able to split that household and take Christian off because he's not going to buy his own place. And you want him to be able to be marketed to individually for the criteria of his personal home. Under listings, those are coming soon because the MLS will be drawing them in for you. The notes section, again, is going to populate as you logged your notes. You're going to find it all in here, but you can also add them in here. Under user activity, this is really exciting. If somebody has chose you as their preferred buyer's agent, and they start searching on your website or your app, whatever the case may be, you're going to be able to see the properties they favorited, anything they hid, what's their search history look like, and even what they saved. And this is all coming soon, but you can imagine the analytics you can get out of this, because you're going to be able to really fine tune what they're looking for. If they want no part of these, you just are going to be able to say, okay, I'm not even going to show them anything in that neighborhood. Every time it comes up, they say no, but every house they favorited is on the same square block. I know that's where they want to live. Now I concentrate my efforts in helping them find a home there. Under history, again, it's going to compile everything that's happened under this one contact. And you can play with this, by the way. Enter your own name, add all these things, and then delete them. You can't break the system. This is all going to be more familiar to you as you practice. Under the marketing tab. Now remember, we're in contacts and leads. I entered one person's name, and these are all the opportunities you have to fine tune every single thing you're doing and hearing and talking to this consumer about, and what kind of marketing campaigns you've got them on. And that's why it's so comprehensive, and it's going to help you fine tune your marketing so that you can really meet the needs of people as individuals. And then the last inbox is where you're going to find out what emails they sent you, forms they might have sent you, text messages they might have sent you. And you can sort. You can manage your filters. On almost every page I've showed you, it has a reset all filters button. If you, just like I had to refresh my browser just to make sure everything I was entering was populating, you might find that necessary if you thought somebody should be showing up or something should be showing up in here. You never know if you stuck a filter in there, so don't be afraid to hit reset. It's not going to lose anything. It's just going to show you all the information you've entered all together. Okay, I'm ready to move on to deals unless there's a question. We good? All right, let's click on deals. And this has a lot less to enter, but basically, like I said, under every category is an add button. Now, I've added just an example here so that you can see you have this pipeline view, and anybody that was a deal within the prospect stage, active, pending, or closed is going to show up. And I'd like to show you adding a deal here. Again, upper right-hand corner. I might name it something else. Usually a deal is revolving around an address as opposed to a homeowner. So let's say this is the list side of Old Forge Road, and they are actually pending. And our sale price is supposed to be $560,000, and you accepted at 2.5. And that shows you your 14,000 expected GCI upon closing. So again, we jump to the closing date and enter the contact, and that might be Christian. And anybody additional that might be in on the deal. Maybe dad has the down payment, and in this case, mom. All right, now I add the deal. And sure enough, here it is under pending. So what I'd like to point out is this is like, it's basically a very subliminal motivating factor. When you see the potential GCI in a visual like this, naturally, if you've got no prospects, you know your pipeline needs to be filled. If this had, let's say, $25,000 in a prospect section, and you were watching the year pass on, you're going to certainly jump on this and try to move that person down the pike to closing. So the GCI isn't just for a convenient mathematical, it's really meant and can motivate you to push everybody through to closing by the end of the year. I think it's a great option. And that's the pipeline view. You can also see it in a list view, and that gives you the name, the participants, the average target prices, GCI, what stats they're in, any tasks that go along with it, etc. So any questions about the deals?
No, we're good. Thanks.
All righty. I'm now going to click on the campaigns button. And once again, things will start to look familiar to you now. I'm starting left to right, moving over. We did the settings pages. You had already managed most of that through your onboarding wizard. We've done the contacts and leads. You realize when you open something, you add it, and then you get a whole new drop down that gives you depths of information about those contacts and leads. We've just done deals, showed you how to add them and how to organize them. Campaigns, here we are on campaigns. It automatically defaulted to single because right now that's the best one I can demonstrate for you. The rest will be coming soon. I'll quickly show you. Recurring is going to be coming, important dates will be coming, drip campaigns, newsletters will be coming. You're going to be able to send specific recipient lists, and then there'll be all kinds of templates for you to choose from. Here's just a few. If you want to show more, add more results, here they start to populate. So you're going to have a very comprehensive template base for you to use for your campaigns. I'm just going to concentrate on the single one for this example. Like everything else, okay, I'm in the campaign base. First thing I'm going to do is add one. And you might title it Spring. And you're going to build it. And let's select a template. And what do we like for spring here? I want to look at a few more. I'd like to see a few more. Here they come. Here's a pretty one. That's a thank you. This looks springy. I'm going to use this template. So here is a visual of the template that I just chose. You can choose any one you want. You can preview them. Just for the sake of this demonstration, I just want to let you know that what you get is a visual with options on editing. So if you look over here, you can you can edit the header, and maybe the header text says Happy Spring. And save the changes. Okay? Then content. What you see are what you get. Blocks are editable for inline for ease of use. Common questions asked during a strong spring. Okay? I can save those changes. And let's do this. You can go down this as much as you want. You can then see on all the templates that we have, there is a section called Add Block. And in this case, you can choose a block, email a listing block, that's just generic, email a text block, or an agent block. So just for the sake of showing you how to do that, we'll go more into blocks in a few minutes, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how you can build that campaign, okay? And any more questions on that? Most of these are to be coming. Michelle, any additional notes?
There is a question about inboxes that I just want to answer aloud. So thanks to Tracy for asking. So just want to be clear with everyone that the inbox inside of booj lives inside of booj. So it's only attached to that system. We are not synced up with Gmail. We're not synced up with Outlook at this time, or any other type of email. So just want to make sure everyone knows that. The inbox will show emails that come in to your personal email, but it's not going to sync over from Gmail. So if you're using the app to email a client, that's what it will be for. And then in the future, it'll actually be synced up. So if they respond to your email or send you an email when they click on your bio page, that's where you're going to get all that information, is in the inbox. So I know it's a little confusing, but the inbox right now is just for inside of booj.
But is that that is gonna integrate?
That's the second quarter for Gmail.
Okay, so that is to be coming, where you'll be able to see that in your current email box, but in the meanwhile, make sure you're checking into your booj inbox.
Yes, if you're going to use it that way, and again, you have to kind of change your behaviors and use the booj CRM mobile app to send an email from there, and then in the future text, as well as making phone calls, and that will all record in the lead score as well for the activity of the client.
Yes, thank you.
But yeah, but just to be clear, yeah, their Gmail is going to remain as it is. It's a separate entity from this. It's just that there's going to be a way to sync them together, especially when it comes to contact records. So we don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet. We don't have it all mapped out yet. And as we get closer to that date, we'll definitely inform everyone.
Wonderful. Thanks for that. And thank you for the question. That helps everybody out. Before I just move on now, I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint just to give us an overview of websites before I go live on those. I did want to remind you, see this little blue question mark, as I mentioned earlier, that is there for you to click on. You'll have all kinds of guides for getting started, understanding booj, and then this is the one we were referring to where we said you can actually ask and give product suggestions. So let's say you find it somewhere in the middle, you submit the feedback. It gives you a box right here where you might say, I was really hoping it would have this feature. Is there plans to add it later? And submit that feedback. That goes directly to the LLC booj development team. And naturally, like anything else, they'll go through them. They certainly can't change everything for everybody, but if there is enough input that seems to be revolving around a specific feature, you can bet they'll take it seriously. All right, so let's now, I hope again that gives you a good navigation, setup, overview, and as you went through it, I hope you can see that it's a very clean program and it's not difficult once you're familiar, but getting familiar means practice. So again, 15 minutes a day, just go into contacts for 15 minutes. The next day go into deals. The next day go into campaigns. And then again, websites. You see the listings in the reports grayed out because they're not yet connected. Listings will come via the MLS, and that will have more training on. And the reports are to be determined when they'll be coming through. So what I'm going to do now is simply click back into my PowerPoint. Is that showing up for everybody okay?
Yes.
Good. So I'm going to go from current slide. And we're going to talk more about the websites. So again, just a few slides to get us up and running, and then I will go live there. What we want to talk about in the website is the Mac Center profile and why you need that updated. We'll show you the dashboard, the setup homepage, how to manage pages, and the menu. Just what you should realize, again, the Mac Center profile is feeding booj. So it's going to feed your website. The bio pages you get on remax.com are coming directly from that profile. Your listing information and the CRM app are going to be branded according to that Mac Center profile. Okay, so we really, if there's stuff going on in booj that doesn't look right, check your Mac Center profile to make sure that's accurate first. Here's a nice picture of a profile page that somebody has done. Actually, Joan has done quite nicely, a nice clear picture. She has an, she has an awful lot in here. And I will show you live, I'll just open these categories and show you what it is you need to fill in. This is just a visual, but it's what you're hoping yours will look like once it's updated. Or maybe it already does, which would be great. So here's a picture of an agent bio page. I bring this up separately because it is a separate entity that you're being provided via the booj platform. Everybody is going to get a bio page. And what that is, and it was decided to be set up because of consumer feedback. What people want is a snapshot view. They don't want to be dragged into a 5-page website before they even have a chance to determine who this person is, what they're about, and if they seem like a good fit. So all the vital information about any one of you is here, and it is being drawn off of your Mac Center profile. So that's, again, another reason to make sure it's really well done. So there's the name, license number, languages, designations, and specialties, the address of the office. It does have interaction, like the contact me, and this button will definitely take them to your brand new 5-page booj website. But the about me is extremely important, because if somebody is looking to refer someone to you in a specific area and you don't have anything really beyond the vanilla in here, they're not really going to be able to be sure you're the right fit for their client. People like to be able to see some real common denominators so that they know their client is going to be with somebody they connect with. If you think about some of your folks that might want to relocate to a warmer climate after retirement, well, they're not taking their entire family and friend base with them. So you want them to remember you in your area and refer people who are still in your area to you, because you did such a good job of connecting them with the right person in their new area. So just keep that in mind, please. Here's a sample, and I've got to just get rid of these black boxes. This is a sample of an agent website design picture. I will show you a couple of live examples, but what you're going to notice is they're clean, they're bright, they're modern. They have what you need right up front, like search bars. There is the menu they can choose from, the contact me button. And this is the website versus the bio page. This is 5 pages that you create and or use out of the box content. This would be a team example where basically the verbiage changes from me or I to us and our, and they get to see all the members of the team. The office website designs, again, more about the overall office, maybe the office policies or the office mission statement, and then locating the offices as well. More on all of those once you get into them. One of my favorite, absolute favorite pieces for buyers in our websites, and it is also on the mobile app, is their ability, a consumer's ability to physically draw with their finger an area in which they want to search for property. It could be fairly broad, but you might have people that say, I don't want my kids have to change school systems. My circle is this little. These are the only streets I can live on and have those kids still go to the same school system. That's where I'm looking. Or it might be, I just want this particular neighborhood because it's on the waterfront. I don't care which street it's on. So it's their choice, and they're able to save that search, which I think is really, really special. You get to see the saved search and can help them really focus their narrowing it down to what might be best for them, rather than saying, well, this house out here, is this still really nice? If it's really not what they're looking for, then stick to what they've told you. And just a visual again, people are going to be able to sign in and register on your app. This is, again, the opportunity to utilize that focused aerial save, and then you're going to see what they're looking at as far as listings. The CRM piece is going to show up on the phone. You can see here, you can log calls and meetings while you're on the phone with Jane, and you can see what tasks are due on your phone. So the phone, your mobile app is going to be almost a mimic of what you would be able to do on your desktop. So I mentioned the bio pages, and just so you're not confused, yes, the bio pages are different than the websites. I want to point out that between all of our websites, the national website, that will still link to all the bio pages. The offices, the multi-offices, it will link to all the individual offices, the teams within them, and the agents. The offices themselves will link to agents and team bio pages. And then within that office, individual agents, teams and team members. Everybody's going to have a link to the bio page. All of those sites will be linking to all of your bio pages. All right, so basically, I'm just giving you a picture of where we were. You remember we started on the red logo to go to booj, and we went over here, we did the settings, then we moving left to right, we went into contacts and leads, deals, campaigns, and we know that you have to enter something in order to build your platform or build your booj product. And then once you do, you can get into each and every piece and go further with each one. There's more behind more behind more. So right now, I'm just pointing out that when you go down to the last of our examples today, you're going to be able to click on the website, and it's going to drop down this menu of items. And now let's look at the website live. Okay, so we're back in our booj platform. I am going to hit the little red icon that takes me home, just like we said, and I'm going to move over to the website. And just as I explained, it's going to go to the dashboard, and we'll go through these features of it before we close today. So the dashboard, first and foremost, you're going to notice the gray button is gray under an agent account, so most of them should be. If yours is blue because you're in an office account or something, please don't push it. We want to wait until March 31st when we can help you with more information and more instruction from the support team as to how to publish your new custom domain names easily. If you want to see a preview of what your website looks like currently, if you go over here, this is the link that will take you to it. This is a default URL, but it's going to ask you for a password. So if you look at this little tiny I next to it and click on it, it gives you the username and password you're going to need. So it's beta.user for the username, and the password is uppercase B for beta, uppercase T for tester, 123 exclamation point. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that just to give you a view, and here it is asking me for beta-user, and the password was uppercase beta, uppercase tester, 123 exclamation point. Hopefully I typed it in right. And there it is. It's showing me what my out-of-the-box content looks like for my test center website. And as you can see, it is nice and clean. My search bar is pretty close up top. It's giving me all of my information. If I was an agent, that would be my picture. Here's the nice bio. Your reviews are in here. We're going to show you more about that. And these are chosen I should say templates and pages that you can choose or not choose for your app, for your website. And in this case, the sample has a video and then a way to contact me. Also, what I want to point out is in all your websites, you're going to have this right-hand side menu. This is consumer facing. So when you click on it, you're going to have all of these different things that your consumer can look at. Under the buy side, you have a mobile app, a buyer's guide, home estimates. All of these things here, however, can be adjusted by you. You can create your own menu, and you can create what order they're in. So I would just want to close out of that and bring you back to where we were. We're at the website and the dashboard. We've taken a good look at the sample that we have, but we have plenty of opportunity. We can leave it as we like it, or we can edit it. Before I jump into the pages and how to build more, I want to point out this mobile app branding. Okay, you need to put in your cell phone number here in order to be able to hit text and then get the link you need to share with others so that they can have your branded mobile app on their phone. And that's the goal. You want others to be able to download that link and get your branding, which again comes from the Mac Center profile, and your branding will appear on all of their interactions with you by the app phone. Michelle, I have a question. I'm not sure anybody's answered yet, and forgive me if I should have heard it by now.
Sure.
Can we text that link to our entire database at once?
No, and I wouldn't recommend a mass text unless it's a really important message, because you could get spammed. What I would do is you are going to have to do them one by one. But the other thing is when you actually text it to yourself, it's a link, and then you can copy and paste that link into a note onto your phone, and then you have it moving forward to be able to send it to whoever you want to.
Oh, great. Okay, good idea. That's a great workaround.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You could also email it. I mean, if you want to do, some of you are using programs like MailChimp or Constant Contact until you start using campaigns in here. If you want to email it, you can, but I would stay away from those texts because we get too many of those as spam.
Good idea. Okay, thank you. All right, so now let's look at this one box here. This is a quick way to get to your home page. You can, when you do, you're going to see a thumbnail option, and the one that's checked green is the current one. And you can decide for yourself if you want to leave it the same or change it. If you want to edit the social layout page, which was your chosen one, the best part of this website builder is every time you open a page, it's showing you what the page looks like on the right-hand side of your editing options. So if this is what the social page looks like and you like the header, but let's say you want to edit something like the bio, you can hit the edit button. Oh, unfortunately right now the bio's in Mac Center, so you have to excuse me. I'll have to pick something that's maybe a little easier to edit at this time that's up and running. Is the social media up and running? Nope, not yet. Let's move down. Okay, the Zillow review block. For 1 second, I'm going to delete that because I want to use this opportunity to show it to you again. So let's say you like this page just as it is, and you have added these reviews through the testimonial manual ad process, which I'll be showing you. But you want to make sure that your Zillow reviews are also coming over. And those come over in a different way. You have to use the Zillow review block to get those to transfer over. So when I said add block, now I use my scroll to find the Zillow review block, which is right here. And when I open it, it's telling me that I need to enter my screen name in order to carry them over. So if you don't know your screen name, you basically have to go to the Zillow account and you can search your own name by Zillow, or you can go to the Zillow page and get to your profile. I believe I have a friend of mine's account right up top. I do. Marilyn's given me permission to use this as an example. So once I typed in her name, she came up top under Zillow.com. I click on it, and here she is on her profile page. And on everybody's profile page, just about halfway down, is a big box on the right that says professional information. And what you want to do is copy your screen name. And here it is. Hers is Marilyn D9. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going back to booj. I'm entering it in the Zillow screen name box. And then I'm saving it. And voila, they all showed up immediately. And let's see if they, hopefully I don't have to refresh this. Yeah, oh, no, I don't. There they are. Now all those Zillow reviews are showed up on that page on this website. So that's one of the blocks I want to make sure you all, especially if you do have money Zillow reviews, I want to make sure you understand that that is how they come over. All right, so I'm going to exit that piece. And it automatically takes me down to the next drop down, which is the page editor. And what I like about this is that you can preview all the pages that you might want to use. I created one here for the town of Situate. I could preview it or edit it. So yes, you can add pages and create new ones like I did here. There's some tests that we've put in, and that's what we want you to do. We want you testing this. Add a page, something that you might like. But let's say we want to preview the charitable causes one. We kind of like that, huh? It talks about Children's Miracle Network, etc. All right, good preview, I'll take it. And now I want to edit it. So here it is now, going in, getting ready to go into my website, and I get to, again, edit every page. So I can go through these and fill in all kinds of information, but what if I was developing my intro paragraph on this content block, but I'm not done. All I have to do is hit the green button and it turns it into a draft. You'll see down here, block updated. That just means it's not going to be visible on your website while you're working on it. It gives you an opportunity to get in there and edit before turning it on so that the public doesn't see a half-done page. And then when it is done, just go back and hit the button, it turns green, and now it's again visible. Okay, so let's exit that. And we're still on the pages. If I went to the drop down, I could do pages as well. Now, the navigation button is basically talking about that menu I mentioned, that each and every one of your websites will have a menu on the upper right-hand corner. This navigation is what you get to adjust, edit, and position so that it's to your liking. What's in the menu, what's showing, and in what order. So you can get there through this drop down, or while you're on the pages, you can just hit edit navigation. So what you see here is a list of all the pages that are currently attached to your website. All right, there are two columns, unlinked pages and active navigation. Active navigation tells you what people are currently seeing on your website. You can move these around. What if you don't want the buy side first and foremost? What if you want the About Remax page? See these little dots? Just grab it and hover it and bring it up as far as you can. Let's see, we can do it again. I might have to move it a couple of times. And finally, I'm bringing it way up to the top because I want that to be the first thing that people see on that page. You can edit again, you can preview. Another thing you're noticing here are these indentations. Under the buy category, you have these things, and under the sell category, you have these things called parent-child relationships. So you can have the buy page with all these little features and pages underneath it. So naturally, the buy side would have the buyer's guide. The seller side might want the seller guide. Do I have that over here yet? Well, I can grab that and we can put, oh, there's the seller's guide. It's right there. Seller's guide. You might want home value estimates. Resources, my info has about me under it. And there's your charitable causes page. Now, the unlinked pages simply mean that they're built. You can edit them, preview them. They're about all different kinds of things. Here's the town of Situate I did, but maybe I'm not done editing it. Anything that's in this category, unlinked, means it is not currently active. It's not currently being shown on your live site. So you have plenty of time to edit it and just make it what you want it to be. And there might be a reason you don't want everything on this side all year. Maybe the charitable causes took place in March and the event is going to be this weekend. And once that's done, it's not going to happen again for a year. So you might just want to drag it and bring it up and over to the unlinked pages. There it goes. So once you take it out of the active, you can push it over to the unlinked. Use it as a template again and again over the years. Every spring, grab the charitable one, give it an edit, and then push it over. Okay? Any questions about that?
Nothing that we haven't already answered, so thanks.
All righty. So now we're going further past. Again, navigation was the same. You could click there, or you could be in the pages and then just click the button, Edit Navigation. The templates, you've seen them in a couple of times today. And depending on how many you want to view at a time, we have 25 here. You can see them, you can preview them, you can edit them, and you can make choices as to which ones you want on your website. The grid view has the photograph, the list view lists them by title. And once you get used to them, they might be easier to find this way. But for now, you might want to just look at the grid and get an idea of what the visual might be if you were to choose that. Okay? Now I'm going to go down to the testimonials. As you saw before, we used the Zillow block to enter your Zillow screen name and bring your Zillow testimonials onto your website, and they automatically populated once you did that. If, however, you get your testimonials from other sources, maybe Realtor.com or Google, wherever your other testimonials are, they don't auto-port, but you certainly can add them manually. So you can go right on the screen that you're used to seeing those reviews and type in an author and write copy and paste his testimonial about you. Maybe he said, I was fully informed and I couldn't have secured without him. And he gave you 5 stars. When you click on this box, yes, you can change the star numbers. Think a little bit about what the actual person gave you, and hopefully it's going to be 5 stars, so you're going to click on that. You can choose to hide the testimonials if you don't want them, but I'm not sure why you'd copy and paste them over if you wanted to hide them. But then just hit add. And I'm going to do that little refresh thing, and hopefully it'll pop up. Not yet. Wonder why that didn't pop up. Add testimonial. Try it one more time. And this actually gives me an opportunity to make a note of something I wanted to say. When the Zillow testimonials transfer over, they will give the timestamp, whether it was a year ago or 4 years ago. And you don't want them all to look like they were all entered at once. So you might want to make the dates on the manual ones, the original dates that were written by these people does not automatically come over. So you might want to add the date that it was written. Maybe it was August of 2019. So you put that in the testimonial box and then hit add. And here they are. Here they're coming. Now it's showing Mr. Jones, great, and it was written August of 2019, 5 stars. This one's visible because you checked it that way, etc. Okay? So that is how you add the manual testimonials versus the Zillow testimonials, which will show up on your website. And now we're moving along down to Domain Manager. As you can see right now, this is left blank with a to be to come. And that is, again, the reason we really have been recommending people do not try to publish their websites, because we don't want you to end up with some random booj, unrecognizable URL for your website. We want you to be able to choose it, and the support team is going to be giving us all direction on how to make that happen as smoothly as possible. And that's going to take place on March 31st. So let's wait that out. and then we'll be back to discuss with you how we can get that updated. Finally, website settings. This basically is an opportunity for you to decide how much flexibility you want to give the consumer searching on your site. So it gives you direction. If you hover over registration settings, it tells you right there. Relaxed settings, users are only required to register for activities that require an account. In restricted, users are required to register for activities that require an account and after viewing listings of a specific number of times. So relaxed basically means only for an activity that they have to register, but restricted means also for the activity, but if somebody's on your website, you can go between 1 and 99. Let's say somebody's on your website and they've looked at 30 listings. You can set that as restricted and decide for yourself that at that point you want them to have to register on your site with the expectation that if they're serious and they're on your site, you want them to be working with you. It's a completely personal decision. And some people say, yes, I think it's important that if they're going to be utilizing my site, that they're working with me. And this is my first attempt at capturing them. Others say the minute I ask for registration, I lose them, so I want to keep mine relaxed. That's a decision for you and nobody else. So that is the overview of the website and the page builders and how you can look at it. And I just, again, I'm going to go back for a moment. After the dive demonstration, I would like to leave you today with a summary and an understanding that Michelle and I are here and that this was a recorded webinar. And you'll get copies of the slides. I highly suggest every one of you get in there and practice at least one category a day for 15 minutes. That is basically our attention span for things like this when we're just learning. And I don't want it to overwhelm you. So between now and the 31st, if you do that, you will feel very comfortable. And I think you'll be able to move on nicely utilizing this extremely comprehensive and excellent platform for realtors. I'd like to ask for any more questions here before we close.
Hey everyone, it's your last opportunity to ask questions today. There's a Q&A box, and by the way, thank you to all of you that have asked questions. They've been really good ones. It looks like we got some good feedback from Tracy Thompson, who is extremely excited about booj and the developers, wants to extend her gratitude. So thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
And going once, going twice, last call for questions.
I'm looking at a few compile, Michelle. Do you see these?
We've answered all of them. So, oh, I see right here. So let me go. Just some good feedback. So it looks like we have a question about MailChimp. In MailChimp, I can create landing pages. Say I want to send out a mailing and keep it brief, then direct clients to the landing page for more detailed, expanded info. So I just want to be clear about something because there was a question earlier in the webinar about transferring templates from MailChimp or Constant Contact into booj. That is not available. I don't know that it will ever be available because the whole intent is to have a nice consistent look in booj, to be using the templates inside of there. So what you're asking, Amanda, is there's just not a integration built that way. You can certainly go into any of your templates in the campaign section, edit the text, create hyperlinks if you want to send people to a landing page. So I mean, that capability is there, just like it's capable. You can do that on your website as well. So I hope that answers your question. And we're just not able to transfer over those templates from other sending platforms. Let's see what else we have here. So looks like someone's looking for the Remax app in the App Store. It should pop right up. It's a white app with the red, white, and blue balloon on it. So yeah, you just type in RE/MAX. You have to put in just RE/MAX. Not, it looks like you typed in the name of your brokerage. So just type in RE/MAX and the search app should come up for you to find it. And let's see what else we have here. Some of you are asking about the first app. We're not prepared to cover or talk in great detail about the first app on this webinar. We're just covering booj, but there's lots of resources that RE/MAX LLC is putting out there. So we hope that you can enjoy that. Also, look for some emails from our regional vice president, Fiona Petrie. That'll be coming out today with some announcements around surrounding, and that happens to be one of the things they'll talk about in the first app. So let's see, I think we are in a good place. Thanks everyone for the questions. Let me just check the chat box really quick. I think we're in good shape. So personally, I want to thank everyone and for joining us and being really adaptable this week as we move towards this virtual world that we're living in. And it's important that we stay connected to you because we do care and we want to make sure that you and your families are well and healthy, and we're all going to get through this together.
Absolutely. So from me, myself, Maureen, everybody, thank you for joining us on this webinar. I know it's hard to sit for 2 hours, but please remember you can get the recording and go through it a little bit slower if it helps you, and use this time to get into the program and also to relax and take some private time at home. So God bless, and we look forward to seeing and hearing from you again very soon. Signing off. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks everyone. Have a good weekend.